2015, when Pete retired, this got converted into a drink store, basically, didn't it?
It did.
Yeah.
Right. So we'll walk down to the bottom there, and we can see the size of the workshop that we actually had.
Yeah. And vehicle maintenance was always part of the group, even when you were at the old sites and it was Hunt's Dairies, all the vehicles were maintained in-house?
Yes, Mr. Hunt believed in, don't take it somewhere else.
Yeah.
When we can get it done ourselves.
Yeah.
That was one of his, he
so
wouldn't...
basically, polar opposite to this young buck who's in charge today, thinks he knows what he's on about.
Mr. Hunt wouldn't have anything, he wouldn't have anything leased on hire purchase, because his thoughts were that I'm keeping them in business, I will buy it myself, and I will build it myself, and I will mend it myself. So that was,
So this really is where a lot of the growth has kind of come in recent years, because, probably 10 years ago we wouldn't have even sold drinks, and now we've got, thousands of pallets worth of drink storage, and it's a big selling line on all the vehicles.
It is.
Yeah.
It's, but, this was quite a big vehicle workshop. At one stage.
And down here would have been your two colleagues, Pat Douch, who was with the company for 48 years, and Ian Hunt, who we sent off last Thursday after 19 years service. Those two must have been a liability to manage, weren't they?
Put it this way, they were really good workers, and I didn't really have any trouble with any of them, really. It's just, day-to-day stuff. We all knew, old school, we all know that it's, what work is. We've worked, it's a luxury for me now to go home at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. 4 o'clock in the afternoon. If I'd have went home 30 years ago, I wouldn't know what to do with myself. It's part of Hunt's. We started at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, and we were working till 9, 10 o'clock at night. And that applied to the whole stores. Everybody did the same. But
and now it's very different. No weekend working.
No weekend.
4
we
till
work
12,
every
11
weekend.
till 8. Very different.
Every Saturday.
But
then it was always an excuse to go to the pub afterwards. So.
And I can believe that for sure. So sort of over your time at Hunt's, Alan, obviously you've been with the company for 50 years. Your wife's worked for the company for 38 years. What's kept you here? Why haven't you gone on and done something else?
There must have been something I liked about it, wasn't there?
Well, I think there must be. We still haven't worked out what it is, but all these years later, and you're still here.
Well, every day was different. We all worked with a lot of nice people. It was just, I suppose, once you get into it and you see changes, not all changes I've liked, as you know, but you got to keep going forward. I've never been very good on the computers. I'm too old to learn now, which we've overcome. And I mean, you never know what's going to happen next, really. And I liked working with a lot of youngsters. I've seen youngsters coming in here. We've had trouble with some of the youngsters. I've managed to sort them out one way or another. And I really liked the people that I've worked with. And then there's out of work time. We had out of work time. We played football. We had our own football team once here in my younger days. We went skittling. We had Christmas parties. All sorts of things. Went to shows and things, but unfortunately these days that doesn't seem to happen.
No, slightly different.
Slightly different.
Different times for.
But it was a smaller community of people, wasn't it? It's.
You wanted to come on through? No. Oh, okay.
So and I've had good bosses to work for, no doubt about it. I have. We've had our ups and downs, like everybody does.
Definitely.
But
So I can still remember my first day when I turned up working for yourself. I think I was about 15, rosy head. Dad pulled into the office and sat there for about 10 hours, and I was in here picking with you. I could still remember it like it was yesterday, really. And I can remember, I think it was about my 7th day, and I went home. It must have been about 6 o'clock. It wasn't too late. And you said, I've got a surprise for you tomorrow. And I remember walking in, and I was on with Paul Warren. And it started off, I had to walk 4 metres behind him at all times because he didn't want to speak to me. I'm not speaking to you. You're the boss's son. What do you know? You useless idiot. So I was traipsing on behind him all the day. And so I started helping with a few things on pallets, and he sort of picked it up, got a little bit funny with me. And then I remember about 2 hours later, he bought me a coffee and he said, actually, you're not too bad. And that's when I thought, actually, I quite like working here. And we've had some real characters in the stores over the years, haven't we?
Yeah. But I mean, I've enjoyed, working with the youngsters. And, we've done, we call it crazy things now. Like we used to do a lot of handball containers. 20 ton at a time. And we'd be doing 2 containers at a time. There'd be 2 of us in one container, 2 in the other. Well, guess what? It was who could finish first. And we'd do 20 ton in 3/4 an hour. And lifting it above your head, fit, young.
And nowadays,
nowadays I wouldn't be able to pick one up. So it was all. It was we had fun whilst we worked.